Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanang namaskritya narang chaiva narottamam deving saraswating vyasang tato jaya mudiraye nasta prayeshu abhadreshu nityang bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 6. Chapter is entitled Prahlad Instructs His Demoniac Schoolmates. Text number 1. It's a famous verse. Sri Prahlada Vacha Komara Acharet Pragya Dharman Bhagavatan Iha Durlabam Manusam Janma Tad Opi Adhrubam Arthadam. Sri Prahlada Vacha Komaro Acharet Pragya Dharman Bhagavatan Iha Durlabam Manusam Janma Tat Api Adhrubam Arthadam. Sri Prahlada Vacha Komaro Acharet Pragya Dharman Bhagavatan Iya Durlabam Manusam Janma Tat Api Adhrubam Arthadam. Vaishnavis. Sri Prahlad Uvacha. Prahlad Maharaj said, Komara in the tender age of childhood. Acharet, should practice. Pragyaha, one who is intelligent. Dharman, occupational duties. Bhagavatan, which are devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Iha, in this life. Durlabam, very rarely obtained. Manusam, human. Janma, birth. Tat, that. Api, even. Adhruvam, impermanent, temporary. Arthadam, full of meaning. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Sri Bhakti Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Prahlad Maharaj said, one who is sufficiently intelligent should use this human form of body from the very beginning of life. In other words, from the tender age of childhood, to practice the activities of devotional service, giving up all other engagements. The human body is most rarely achieved, and although temporary like other bodies, it is meaningful because in human life one can perform devotional service. Even a slight amount of sincere devotional service can give one complete perfection. Purport. The whole purpose of Vedic civilization and of reading the Vedas is to attain the perfect stage of devotional service in the human form of life. According to the Vedic system, therefore, from the very beginning of life, the brahmacharya system is introduced so that from one's very childhood, from the age of 5 years, one can practice modifying one's human activities so as to engage perfectly in devotional service. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 2.40, Salpam apiyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Even a little advancement on this path can protect from the most dangerous type of fear. Modern civilization, not referring to the verdicts of Vedic literature, is so cruel to the members of human society that instead of teaching children to become brahmacharis, it teaches mothers to kill their children even in the womb on the plea of curbing the increase of population. And if by chance a child is saved, he is educated only for sense gratification. Gradually, throughout the entire world, human society is losing interest in the perfection of life. Indeed, men are living like cats and dogs, spoiling the duration of their human lives by actually preparing to transmigrate again to the degraded species among the 8,400,000 forms of life. The Krishna consciousness movement is anxious to serve human society by teaching people to perform devotional service, which can save a human being from being degraded again to animal life. As already stated by Prahlad Maharaj, Bhagavad Dharma consists of Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Bandhanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atma Nivedanam. In all the schools, colleges and universities and at home, all children and youths should be taught to hear about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In other words, they should be taught to hear the instruction of Bhagavad Gita, to put them into practice in their lives, and thus to become strong in devotional service, free from fear of being degraded to animal life. Following Bhagavad Dharma has been made extremely easy in this age of Kali. The Shastra says, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Namaiva Kevalam, Kalo Nastibhya, Nastibhya, Nastibhya Gatirannatha. One need only chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Everyone engaged in the practice of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra will be completely cleansed from the core of his heart and be saved from the cycle of birth and death. Mukam karati vachalam panghullanghayate giring jatkripatam aham vande Sri Gurung dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Isharam. Hare Krishna. So tomorrow is the divine appearance day of Lord Narsimha. Narsimha Bhagavan ki. And Mayapur is famous for the wonderful deity of Lord Narsimha. People from different parts of the world have gathered, are gathering and will be gathering to celebrate tomorrow's wonderful festival. And best way to celebrate the festival is to make our consciousness Narsimha consciousness. Narsimha is a very, very special form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Rupa Goswami explains, out of unlimited forms of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, 3 forms are very, very prominent and very, very important for the Gauriya Vaishnavas. Krishna Chandra Bhagavan, Ramchandra Bhagavan and Narsimha Bhagavan. Why? Because these personalities appear very rarely. Generally, Lord comes in every yuga, regular intervals. Krishna declares also in Bhagavad Gita, Sambhavami Juge Juge, I appear in every yuga. But Krishna appears once in a day of Brahma. Ramchandra Bhagavan also appears once in a day of Brahma. And Narsimha Bhagavan also appears once in a day of Brahma. Sambhavami kalpe kalpe, not yuge yuge. So, the appearance of Lord Narsimha is very, very rare. And Srila Prabhupada has explained, Narsimha is the protector of the Sankirtan movement. Even Lord Chaitanya faced difficulties in Navadvip Dham to spread the Sankirtan movement, and Lord Narsimha protected this movement by handling wonderfully the main obstacle of the Sankirtan movement, Chand Kazi. So by that we can understand that we worship Lord Narsimha not to go to Narsimha Vaikuntha. We worship Lord Narsimha to protect the Sankirtan movement and to remove all the obstacles on our path to Goloka Vrindavan. So our purpose is little different than other worshippers of Lord Narsimha. So Gauriya Vaishnavas, they worship Lord Narsimha to remove the obstacles on the path to Goloka Vrindavan and to remove the obstacles to spread the Sankirtan movement all over the world. Today we will be discussing about Prahlad, because Prahlad is glorious. Devotee is more glorious than the Supreme Lord. So Lord Narsimha is the subject matter of the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. But Narsimha is speaking very less, and about him Sukadeva Goswami also talks very less. Whole canto is primarily about Prahlad Maharaj and also his wonderful father Hiranyakashipu. But Prahlad is the center of 7th canto. So Prahlad Maharaj is preaching to his demoniac schoolmates. So Prahlad is a pure devotee of the Lord. Acharyas are explaining Prahlad Maharaj is a sadhan siddha and Prahlad Maharaj is also nitya siddha. How it is possible? Two personalities combined together and appeared as Prahlad Maharaj. Sadhaka Prahlad attained siddhi and nitya siddha Prahlad combined together and appeared as Prahlad Maharaj. So there are three kinds of siddhas: sadhana siddha, kripa siddha and nitya siddha. Nitya siddha is coming from the spiritual world. Very, very rare. Kripa siddha, they get siddhi by the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, special mercy, like Jagai, Madhai. No qualification, but became highly qualified. Why? Because Nityananda Prabhu, not Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu wanted them to be delivered. So by the merciful glance of Nityananda Prabhu, Jagai Madhai became the glorious devotees. Nitya, they became Kripa Siddha devotees. But normal process is sadhana siddha. We do sadhana bhakti and we attain perfection. And what is siddhi? For us, generally people think siddhi means moksha, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. We perform religious activities for what? Economic development. And why you need economic development? For sense gratification. And ultimately become frustrated in everything and want to be liberated. Moksha. That is a perfection. That is a siddhi. But Mahaprabhu came not to give that moksha. Mahaprabhu came to give prema pumartha mahan. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give love of Godhead. This is the fifth pancham purushartha, the fifth perfection of all life, topmost perfection. So for the Gaudiya Vaishnava, siddhi means love of Godhead. And what kind of love of Godhead? Braja prema bhakti. Kevala prema, not Vaikuntha prema. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give Golokera Premadhan, Harinam Sankirtan. Harinam Sankirtan is available in every Kali Yuga because that is a Yuga dharma. But when Mahaprabhu comes, so Mahaprabhu also comes once in a day of Brahma, Kalpe Kalpe. And when Mahaprabhu comes, he does not bring the holy name from Vaikuntha. He brings the holy name from Goloka Vrindavan. That's the special gift of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Harinam Sankirtan is the gift for every Kali Yuga people. Very, very magnanimous gift. But what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives, no other incarnation could give. So it is given only once in a day of Brahma. So our goal of life as Gaudiya Vaishnavas is to attain Braja Prema Bhakti, love of Godhead, love of Vrindavan, and especially Gopi's love for Krishna. So Prahlad is in the category of Nitya Siddha. And also as a sadhaka, he attains Siddhi, sadhana Siddha. So what is the symptom of a Siddha Bhakta? The symptom is he never forgets Krishna for a moment. That is a symptom of perfection. We try to judge, he is a perfect devotee, he is a perfect devotee, he is a pure devotee, he is a pure devotee. Prabhu, you are a pure devotee. Mataji, you are a pure devotee. Maharaj, you are a pure devotee. It's okay, very nice to address like that. But pure devotee means who does not forget Krishna for a moment. He is a pure devotee, real pure devotee. Once Prabhupada said, everybody in ISKCON is pure devotee. And devotees are very happy with that, at the same time doubtful also. So there are two kinds of Suddha Bhakta, Sadhaka Suddha Bhakta and Siddha Suddha Bhakta. Those who are practicing pure devotional service, they are also Suddha, pure devotees. But they are sadhakas, practicing pure devotee. Why they are pure devotees? Because their goal is to become pure devotees. They don't have any other goal. Na dhanang, na janang, na sundaring, kavitang ba, jagadisha kamaya. They don't desire anything in this world, even liberation. But they have anarthas. That's why they are sadhakas. They are not free from anarthas. They are in the process of cleansing the anarthas in the heart, but their goal of life is to become a pure devotee. Nothing else they want in their lives. But still they have anarthas. That's why they are practicing pure devotees. And those who are perfect pure devotees, they are free from all the anarthas, and those who have attained love of God. Prema Bhakti. Sadhana Bhakti is a process, and goal is to attain Prema Bhakti. Sadhana Bhakti teke hoy rotir uday, roti garo hoile tare prem naam koy. Chaitanya Charitamrita explains how we can get love of Godhead by the process of sadhana bhakti. In between sadhana and siddhi, there is a in-between stage that is called bhava bhakti, rati. But we should not think one day in the morning we wake up and experience love of Godhead. It's not going to happen like that. Unless you are a special category of kripa siddhi. Normal process is that we have to practice vigorously. Steady devotional service. What is the symptom of steady devotional service? Tinadapi sunichena, tarorapi sahishnuna, amanina manadena, kirtaniya sadahari. This is the symptom of steady devotee. A steady devotee can attain love of God. Unsteady devotee cannot get love of God. So you have to come to the platform of steady devotional service. Steady means who is performing devotional service 24 hours a day. That is the symptom of a steady devotee. Uninterrupted devotional service, 24 hours. And what is the symptom of perfect devotees? Those who are remembering Krishna 24 hours a day. That is the symptom of a perfect devotee. So Prahlad Maharaj is in that category. And how he attained perfection? In one personality, he is coming from the spiritual world. That's why Nitya Siddha, in devotees, they never forget Krishna. They always remember Krishna. But he also attained perfection as a sadhaka in other personality. And how he attained perfection? By hearing from Narad Muni. And what was the place of hearing? In the womb of his mother. The classroom of Prahlad Maharaj was his mother's womb. We need all kinds of facilities, no? Classrooms should have a lot of facilities. But Prahlad Maharaj did not have that privilege. His classroom was the womb, dark room. So therefore, external facilities are not so important in Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is glorious, and it becomes glorious when we are in touch of a pure devotee. That is the glory of devotional service. So Prahlad Maharaj's life became glorious. Why? Because he had the glorious interaction with the glorious devotee Narad Muni. That is the real glory of life. Having a glorious classroom, very good. But glorious classroom is really glorious when it is used for pure devotional service and when a pure devotee is speaking in that classroom. Then it becomes glorious. The womb of Narad Muni's mother, Kayadu, the wife of Hiranyakashipu, became glorious. Why? Because Narad Muni was there in that classroom. That's why Narad Muni made the womb of his mother glorious. Although Kayadu also gave a glorious son to this world, Prahlad Maharaj. Kayadu heard from Narad Muni. Prahlad Maharaj also heard from Narad Muni. So Prahlad became Prahlad and Kayadu remained Kayadu. Speaker is the same. Right or wrong? It is said that by chanting the holy name once, you can attain love of Godhead. Mahaprabhu is telling, Kiba mantra dila gosai, kiba tar bol, jopite jopite mantra, korila pagal. When Prakashananda Saraswati asked Mahaprabhu, you are a sannyasi from our school, Bharati Sampradaya, but you are not studying Vedanta. You are not associating with us. What to talk of associating with us? You completely avoid us. And you always sing and dance like a sentimental person. And you don't sing, dance alone with so many people, thousands and millions of people. And you do that on the street. What kind of sannyasi behavior is this? Then Mahaprabhu said, what can I do? My guru told me I am not qualified to study Vedanta. I am a number one fool. That's why this foolish disciple got a mantra. And what kind of mantra I don't know. Whenever I chant, I become mad in ecstasy. So Mahaprabhu, even chanting one time, he was experiencing love of Godhead. But for us, we have been chanting for years. Many are chanting 30 years, 40 years. Still, things are not happening. Why? We may think, oh, the potency of the holy name has disappeared, looks like. But potency is the same. But we are not qualified. In Nectar of Instruction, it is said, if you dip in the water of Radha Kund, when you come out from that water, you will experience Gopi's love for Krishna. That is the point made by Rupa Goswami. If you dip into the water of Radha Kund, you get love of Godhead. Braja Prema Bhakti. Gopi's love for Krishna. Once, if you have a dip. And one devotee was telling me, Maharaj, I have been doing this for many, many years. I think more than 100 times I have given this service. But Kam Bhav is not disappearing. What to talk about Gopi Bhav? So what? So, you think that potency is gone? Potency is not gone. One Acharya has explained, who is at the level of Bhava Bhakti is qualified to, really qualified to take a bath in Radha Kund. And when he takes a dip and comes out from the water of Radha Kund, he attains love of Godhead. So to take bath in Radha Kund, we need to be qualified. Narad Muni took a dip in Kusum Sarovar. And when he came out, he became a Naradi Gopi. And with that hope, many devotees do that, but they come out at the same form. And same consciousness also looks like. Nothing changes. Why? Because we are not qualified. So here, Narad Muni is speaking. Narad Muni is preaching Krishna consciousness to Prahlad. At the same time, Koyadu is also hearing. But Koyadu is not getting the benefit what Prahlad Maharaj got. So Prahlad is highly qualified. He has done his practice. That's why he is qualified to receive the transcendental message of Narad Muni. So in order to be a listener, we have to be qualified. Parikshit Maharaj was listening Srimad Bhagavatam. And Sukadev Goswami was speaking Srimad Bhagavatam. And it is addressed in Srimad Bhagavatam, both are Mahabhagavat. Both are Uttamadhikaris. Both are highly qualified devotees. We should not think, oh, I am a listener, I can be doing other things also. It's not the thing. In order to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, we need to be qualified. So Prahlad was a highly qualified student. And that's why he became a qualified teacher at the age of 5. Rather, he was qualified in the womb only. So he came out from the womb as a pure devotee, because he did his sadhana in the womb. Sadhana bhakti was done in the womb, and perfection also was attained in the womb. And when he came out, he started preaching Krishna consciousness. So in this chapter, Prahlad Maharaj is speaking to his friends, school friends. School preaching is going on. Youth preaching is going on. And where he is preaching? He is preaching in a very difficult place, the headquarters of Hiranyakashipu. And who is Hiranyakashipu? Hiranyakashipu socially is very close to Prahlad, because Hiranyakashipu is the father of Prahlad Maharaj. Right? But two opposite personalities. Seventh canto deals with two propensity, demoniac propensity and divine propensity. So Hiranyakashipu is the embodiment of demoniac propensity, and Prahlad is the embodiment of divine propensity. So Hiranyakashipu, the name also is very important. Hiranya means gold, and Kashipu means soft bed. So Hiranyakashipu is the embodiment of economic development and sense enjoyment, money and sex. If you want to learn how to earn money, and if you want to know how to enjoy sex life, contact Hiranyakashipu. He is the best person, and he attained perfection. And how he attained perfection? Through austerities. To become anything glorious, we have to do austerities. So Hiranyakashipu performed austerities and he became unconquerable. He became the God, unrivaled God in this universe. The demigods became the maidservants of Hiranyakashipu. He changed the law of universe. If you do sinful activity, you will go to heaven. If you commit pious activity, you go to hell. Everything is changed. Everybody accepted Hiranyakashipu as Bhagavan. And they used to give Premadhani also. Hiranyakashipu Bhagavan ki jai. And Narad Muni is declaring, I used to also take part in this Premadhani. So Narad Muni also was glorifying Hiranyakashipu. And Narad Muni says that Hiranyakashipu was extremely Krishna conscious. Why? Because he was also remembering Vishnu 24 hours a day. Very intense. But he is a demon. Why? Because he was Krishna conscious in a negative way. And one becomes devotee when someone becomes Krishna conscious in a positive way. Prahlad is Krishna conscious devotee, and Hiranyakashipu is Krishna conscious demon. Both are perfect. Prahlad is perfect devotee, and Hiranyakashipu is perfect demon. We cannot become Hiranyakashipu. It's not that easy. Very, very difficult to become Hiranyakashipu, and more difficult to become Prahlad. So Prahlad is preaching Krishna consciousness in the Gurukula under the direction of Hiranyakashipu, and teachers are Sanda and Amarka. And there Prahlad is preaching Krishna consciousness. By this, the preacher should get motivation. We say, oh, preaching is very difficult nowadays. But preaching was difficult that time also. Much more difficult. So Prahlad started his preaching in a very wonderful way. So one day, Prahlad was on the lap of Hiranyakashipu. And Hiranyakashipu was very happy by seeing his own son, beautiful 5-year-old son. He said, Prahlad, please tell me what you have learned from your teacher, from your guru. He thought he'll say something very pleasing to him. Then Prahlad said that those who are attached in family life is like a ditch, dark well, no water. And that person should give up the family life and go to the forest. That is the first preaching of Prahlad. And he is preaching to who? Hiranyakashipu, the Lord of the universe. That time, temporary Lord. And he addressed his father as Asura Srashta, the best of the demons. So, Hiranyakashipu's reaction was little mixed. He thought, what happened? He was not taking these things seriously. At the same time, he was thinking, how come my son learned this? He called Sandamarka, make sure, give high security in Gurukul. Looks like Vaishnavas have entered. So make sure no Vaishnava enters into Gurukula and train him properly and bring him back. Sandamarka was very nervous also and also curious and also angry. He said, how come Prahlad you learned all this? From where you learned this? We never taught you. Then Prahlad started preaching to them also. So Prahlad started preaching Krishna consciousness to his teachers. First he taught Krishna consciousness to Hiranyakashipu, his father. Then he is preaching Krishna consciousness to his teachers. And he is not preaching in an indirect way. Direct preaching, Krishna consciousness. He said we should not waste our life. It's a human form of life, is very rare. Engage in devotional service. Devotional service is the goal of all life. So in that way, Prahlad was teaching or preaching to his teachers. Then after some time, again, Prahlad was brought to Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu thought maybe this time Prahlad will perform good. Then again he asked the question, what best you learned from your teachers? Then he said, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Pada Sevanam Archanam Vandanam Dashyam Sakhyam Atma Nivedanam. 9 processes of devotional service to who? Vishnu. As soon as Hiranyakashipu used to hear Vishnu, he used to become very, very angry. Because Vishnu is his enemy. And the mission of Hiranyakashipu is to kill Vishnu. That was his mission. Everybody has mission. But his mission was not successful, but he had a mission. Then this time he became very angry. He became very angry. And he said, what have we learned all these things? Then he continued to teach. He said that, how did you learn this principle of Krishna consciousness? And he said that those who are very attached in Krishna, in family life, in materialistic life, they cannot understand Krishna consciousness by their own endeavor or by the mercy of others, and a combination of both. And in that way, he was continuing to preach Krishna consciousness to Hiranyakashipu. And Hiranyakashipu became very, very angry and he threw away Prahlad from his lap on the floor. And told his demoniac assistants, please make sure he is killed. Kill him. That is the demoniac tendency. A demoniac person doesn't mind to kill his own son. Kamsa wanted to kill his own sister. This is demoniac propensity. So, all the soldiers, they tried to kill Prahlad with different weapons. Nothing was happening. Prahlad was absorbed in Krishna consciousness and nothing could harm Prahlad Maharaj. Then Hiranyakashipu told, try to kill him in many different ways. He gave a lot of advices. kill this way, kill that way, and the list is given in Srimad Bhagavatam. So Prahlad was put under the legs of elephants. He was thrown from the mountain into the ocean. He was thrown into the place of poisonous snakes. In that way, he was given poison. He was tried so many ways to kill. But Prahlad was undisturbed. Nothing was happening to him. Why? Because he was absorbed in Krishna consciousness. So when someone is thinking of Krishna, he becomes invincible. Nothing can harm him, because his whole existence becomes spiritual. That is the power of thinking of Krishna. That's why it is said, the essence of spiritual life is to think of Krishna all the time. Rupa Goswami also explains that. Krishna also explains in Bhagavad Gita, Manmana Bhava. Savanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam. Remembering Krishna is the perfection of our life. As a sadhaka, our main goal is to hear. Sadhaka's main business is to hear. Advanced sadhaka, his main goal is to do kirtanam. Beginner sadhana should focus more on shravanam. Advanced sadhaka should focus on kirtanam. And those who attend certain level of perfection, they should be absorbed in thinking of Krishna. So you cannot imitate that. Some people try to imitate thinking of Krishna. And those who imitate thinking of Krishna, they will sleep. One devotee came to Prabhupada. Prabhupada, I was doing meditation and I am feeling very fresh. Prabhupada said, definitely you will feel fresh because we had a nice sleep. So when we try to imitate the Siddhas and imitate to think of Krishna, it is not going to happen. So those who are beginners, those who are not advanced in Krishna consciousness, they should focus on hearing. We should try to engage the ears in the process of Krishna consciousness. Shravanam, then Kirtanam, then Vishnu Smaranam. So Prahlad, being perfect, he was always remembering Krishna. And what happened? As a result of that, he was fearless. When we are Krishna conscious, we become fearless. And when we are not Krishna conscious, we are fearful. Fear comes. When fear comes? When we are not remembering Krishna. Forgetfulness of Krishna is the cause of fear. And this world is the world of fear. What will happen? What will happen? Even after hearing Bhagavad Gita, reading Bhagavad Gita, and also giving lecture on Bhagavad Gita, we are fearful. What's going to happen? Who will take care of me? When I become old, who will take care of me? Nobody is going to take care of you. It should be very, very clear. Nobody can take care. Who can take care? Krishna takes care. Ami bina bandhu ar ki ache tumar. We try to build friendship with so many people, forgetting our real friend. That's why Mahaprabhu is reminding us, I am the only friend. And you have forgotten this friend. That's why you are in fear. Bhaktarang jagatapasang sarvaloka maheshwaram suidang sarvabhutanam gyattamang sante mrichati. Krishna also says the same thing in Bhagavad Gita, that I am the friend. So Prahlad was fearless. Why? Prahlad was closely connected with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So when we are connected with the Supreme Lord, there is no question of fear. Fear comes from disconnect. কৃষ্ণ বহির্মুখ হইয়া ভগবাঞ্ছা করে নিকটস্থ মায়া তারে ঝাপটিয়া ধরে. We get the embrace of Krishna, no, we get the embrace of Maya when we turn away from Krishna. Krishna বলি সেই জীব অনাদি বহির্মুখ অতএব মায়া তারে দেয় সংসার দুঃখ. Then when we become non-Krishna conscious, Krishna bhuli, when we forget Krishna, then we get all miseries of this material world. The cause of misery is forgetfulness of Krishna. And all the miseries will go away when we remember Krishna. Bhakti Vinod Thakur sings, Jeev Krishna Das, ei Vishwas korle to ar dukkha nai. When we accept, really accept from our heart, we are the servants of Krishna, then all miseries will go away. So Prahlad Maharaj was fearless because he was remembering Krishna. And nothing can harm Prahlad Maharaj. We may think, oh, that happened in Satya Yuga. May not work in Kali Yuga. Same thing worked in Kali Yuga also. That same Prahlad came as Haridas Thakur. So Haridas was also beaten up in 22 marketplaces. And nothing was happening to him. Why? Because we are chanting the holy name of the Lord 24 hours a day. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So same principle, it's an eternal principle. It does not depend on which yuga. It happened in Satya Yuga, it happened in Treta Yuga, it happened in Dwapar Yuga, also it happened in Kali Yuga, and it's still happening in the modern days. So it is the eternal principle. Remembrance of Krishna is the eternal principle. The principle of fearlessness is eternal. Remembering Krishna is the source of fearlessness. Prahlad was fearless because he was remembering Krishna. And who can preach Krishna consciousness really? Who is fearless. The primary qualification of a sannyasi, as explained by Prabhupada in the purport of Bhagavad Gita, first is abhayam. You have to be fearless. If we have fear, we cannot preach Krishna consciousness. Prahlad was fearless. That's why he was preaching Krishna consciousness to his demoniac father, to his demoniac teachers, and also to his demoniac school friends in the kingdom of his father. He was fearless. Unless we become fearless, we cannot preach Krishna consciousness really. Others can try, but real preachers are those who are completely dependent on Krishna and fearless in his life. So Prahlad is an ideal preacher of Krishna consciousness because he was completely absorbed in Krishna consciousness and he was fearless and spreading Krishna consciousness everywhere and in the most difficult place. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.